Hello, everyone. Welcome back to this episode of Just Another Year Chicago. Friday Eve, we have over here some of those who take summer Fridays in the summer and are lucky about that. It is your Friday, so have a great weekend coming up. Hope you guys have a great weekend, and if we don't see you, we'll talk to you again later. But the Bears OTAs are over, but training camp is not. What's next? That's what's up. Training camp, baby. June 14th through the 16th, 2022. We cannot wait for this. But before training camp, we are going to review all the different areas of the Chicago Bears by position and what they need to do in order to be ready for the season. In today's group, the defensive line, the absolute wall that Ryan Poles has put together, that it already was kind of forming, even after Akiem Hicks leaving to go elsewhere and Eddie Goldman going elsewhere and Khalil Mack going elsewhere. No problem at all. This is a new era of Bears football. And though we wish those guys the best, we currently support our guys even more. And we are very excited about that. So before we jump into it, we'd like to thank our sponsor, Stupid Car Tray. Tired of your pizza topping sliding, office coffee distracting you while driving, grease and other stains getting on your seat, or you're just enjoying a game on the couch and don't want to lean over? Look no further than the Stupid Car Tray. Visit www.stupidcartray.com and use discount code J16 to get 16% off your entire order. Link in the description. And now Stupid Car Tray has cup and mug holders. You can never have too many cup holders in your car. The Stupid Car Tray allows you to be able to place Slurpees, Hydro Flask, Yetis, and more to be safe and secure during your ride. Use code JAYCHI, Jaychi, and code will be in the description at checkout to get 16% off your entire order. So with all the accessories, everything, you're saving about $10. Can't beat that. So let's jump into what you guys came here today for, the defensive line. So who's the group that we currently have in Chicago? There are some great names on this roster. So just want to put that out there. We all know that I absolutely suck at pronouncing names sometimes. So here we go. Bear with me. First one, I'm going to do the hardest one out of the gate because why not? Auzoyah Alufohai, 6'4", 320, 25 years old, new, came from the Houston Texans, looking like a big body that the Bears are missing after Akiem Hicks left. And he's looking good in OTA so far. So happy that we brought him into Chicago. Welcome to Chicago. And if I said it wrong, my deepest apologies. Number 2, Angelo Blackson, 6'4", 315, 29 years old, the oldest defensive lineman on this roster and the veteran that's going to help mentor these young crew. Micha Dew-Treadway, 6'4", 308, age not available, but he is a rookie, so welcome to the NFL. Mario Edwards Jr., 6'3", 277, 28 years old, the lightest defensive lineman, but definitely the meanest. I'll get into that in a little bit. Justin Jones, who we interviewed a couple months ago, 6'3", 309, 25 years old, coming from the Los Angeles Chargers. Welcome to Chicago. LaCale London, 6'5", 316, 24 years old, returning guy. Welcome back. Khyris Tonga, 6'4", 338, 25 years old, the biggest overall defensive lineman on this roster. And I am very, very excited about him. And Carson Taylor, 6'3", 241, undrafted free agent rookie, age not available. We have the group of Chicago we are very excited about, and that is a lot of bear to be able to be going up against Dalvin Cook, Aaron Jones, and other running backs of the world. So a lot of athletic big man. Just want to put that out there really quick. I know that, Akiem Hicks was 350 plus. That is a large human being, a little bear. But like Ryan Poles said, it doesn't just apply to the offensive line in regards to you want a big, athletic, light guys. It applied to the defensive line as well. Tonga's the biggest at 338, but he doesn't look 338. He's just a massive dude. Strong, big, sleeve makes him look mean. Can't complain. If you want to see a full picture of him, make sure that you go and Google it, or we'll post it on our Instagram. Make sure to go follow us on that, by the way. We're trying to get to 1,000 before the end of June followers. So please go check out our Instagram. It's right below next to my name. So anyway, let's go back to what's more important. But a lot of lighter guys, and that's okay because that makes them faster. They're still as strong, and they have a different impact on the game. So what impact are you going to see, and what you should see at camp is that head coach Matt Eberflus and defensive coordinator Alan Williams are bringing the Tampa 2 defense from the Indianapolis Colts. Just to give you guys a quick reference, a Tampa 2 defense means that there's 4 defensive linemen, which you'd be like, wait, Nick, the Bears had that last year. We had Khalil Mack and Robert Quinn on the other sides who are considered linebackers in a different stance. This one's going to be a little bit more tighter, and it's going to make it harder on the offensive line when we're blowing it up the middle, and we're very excited about that. So the Tampa 2 defense is 4 defensive linemen on the field at all times, and you're going to see a lot of stuffing up the middle. And the reason why we're not too worried about the outsides is because of the fact that we have athletic linebackers in Nicholas Moreau and Roquan Smith, and if you really consider it, Robert Quinn, and the defensive line can worry about stuffing up the middle. The DBs and the linebackers are able to fly in and be able to take over outside runs, much more aggression that you're going to see that, Chicago Bears fans loved watching. And the Tampa 2 defense was used when the Bears went to the Super Bowl back in 2006 when Lovie Smith was head coach. So just stick with that. A little bit of something, give hope for, but you're going to see a lot of that in training camp, especially from the highlights you're going to see. You're going to be putting the fastest guys on the offensive tackles, point number 2. And the reason why I say this is because you're going to have guys like Tonga. You're going to have guys, standing up the middle, like not really Justin Jones, but more so LaCale London, who are going to be taking over the guards. Because if you can blow up the guards, now your tackles have to worry about helping out the guards against the bigger defensive linemen, leaving your lighter defensive linemen like Justin Jones, like Mario Edwards Jr., like Carson Taylor, potentially, Angelo Blackson. You're going to have those guys on the outside because they're going to act more like a defensive end. And that's something that's pretty awesome, because if you're able to stuff up the middle, you can't do a draw play, your tackles are already focusing on it. Then you have 2 big defensive lineman tackles who are hungry to go after the ball, going after the running back. And then on top of it, you have the linebackers helping out. So you're going to see a lot of that, putting the fastest guys on the outside, which is going to be the left and right tackles. And then also, finally, handling of the double teams. Kind of said this in the beginning, putting the bigger guys in the middle, but the Bears have a lot of athletic but light big man. They're going to go with just like the offensive line, but they want to figure out what the offensive line is doing. I'm not sure if you guys heard, but Tevin Jenkins ran with the 2s yesterday at the last day of OTAs. That is because Matt Eberflus was like, we're just trying different combinations to see who works best with who. So take it with a grain of salt, but he's going to do that with the defensive line as well. You're going to see, who takes on double teams the best, who can bring over more opportunities open for other guys. How can this defense work better in order to get to the quarterback or the running back through the trenches? That is what you're going to see a lot of at camp. And it's going to be a lot of testing. Growing pains year, folks. Been saying it over and over again. Growing pains. By the way, this polo that I'm wearing looks like some John Daly would wear. So just notice that while I was recording. That's kind of crazy. Hope this isn't hurting anyone's eyes too much. But what are the focuses of the defensive line? And I honestly only have one that I really want to focus on, and I just kind of hit on it, is who's going to be up the middle. Is it going to be Tonga? Is it going to be Blackson? Is it going to be Justin Jones? Is it going to be LaCale London? I mean, there is a lot of different combinations, and that's what the Bears need to figure out right away, is who is going to do that, but also who is going to take over that big man middle spot that Akiem Hicks, that we lost with Akiem Hicks going to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. So that's going to be a huge focus on the double team situation, because again, you're able to stuff up the middle, you're able to blow up guards, you're able to get the other defensive lineman in, or you can do a linebacker blitz. So many benefits to the Tampa 2 defense. All I have to say with that. So I'm talking fast, and I just want to make sure I get all this information to you guys because I'm very excited about the defensive line. So the lineup that you're probably going to see, and defensive linemen always rotate in and out. So take it with a grain of salt of when a guy is starting and not starting. Obviously, you want to have your best out there to start the game to set the tone, but I see a lot of rotation with this defense. I really, really do. And we're going to hit on linebackers and edges tomorrow, just to put that out there for you folks. So what we're probably going to see is 4 defensive linemen on the roster for sure. Because again, you have guys like Robert Quinn. You have guys like Akam Muhammad. A lot of different defensive ends that need to still play in the game that are on this roster that are going to be considered defensive linemen moving forward. We're going to go over that tomorrow, though. But so I'm just going to go through 6 because we're going to have some practice guys players, but also just in the overall order. So number 1 is going to be Tonga. His side alone makes him the biggest threat up the middle for the Chicago Bears, but also he's a very smart player in person. Graduated from BYU, a prestigious school, but he was a captain at BYU as well. So he has that leadership skill at a school like that. And also he was a captain for the last 2 years of his career at BYU. So, and I really like him. I think he's a great team player. He brings a lot of energy to this team. He showed a big upside last year during his rookie season. So it only goes up from here, folks. Just defensive lineman new. I'm going to go with Justin Jones, not being biased at all either. Justin Jones is honestly one of the best signings in the offseason for the Chicago Bears. He's big and insanely strong, and he's young. He has had injuries before, just like any other player. But when he is on that field, he makes a big impact. And we immediately signed him after the Larry Ogunjobi news that we couldn't sign Larry Ogunjobi because of medical issues. So comes from a talented LA Chargers defense, knows how to win, came to Chicago because he said he wants to win. And I think that he's going to make that very special and make nightmares for quarterbacks entering the week of the Chicago Bears. Quarterbacks already having nightmares about the Bears. Just want to put that out there. Defensive lineman 3, it's going to be Angelo Blackson. You know, you obviously have that veteran presence, the oldest guy on the line in the league. And he's a great depth guy. You know, he could be like an Akiem Hicks kind of player. You know, he signed him to a cheap contract. Didn't really explode in Denver, but hey, he comes to Chicago and does absolutely awesome. So I think that his side helps him against smaller guards. And I'll just put on a few more pounds, which is very easy to do with Chicagoland food. We all know that. Come on now. But defensive lineman number 4 is Mario Edwards Jr. And the reason why I say this is because, one, he's on a contract. He's on a multi-year contract with the Bears. But also, he's a fire plug. I mean, he is not afraid to get in guys' faces. He is not afraid to blow through that offensive line. And sure, he gets a penalty every now and then. And yes, one of them ended up in a drive killer last year, especially against the Green Bay Packers, where he got that penalty against Aaron Rodgers, but Aaron Rodgers gets whatever penalty he wants. Mario Edwards Jr. is a crazy guy and, you know, crazy good on the football field. I really like him. I like the energy that he brings, and the Bears are going to need that this upcoming season for sure. Defensive lineman number 5 is Auzoyah Alufohai. The newest addition to the defensive line, but a good one. You know, 6'4", 320 frame makes him a threat up the middle, and he's big and fast. So if you look at pictures of him, he is, I mean, big dude, very large man. So I could see him making this roster for sure as defensive lineman number 5. And now you're starting to get in the territory of practice squad and potential cuts. I think LaCale London has a good shot at making this roster too, whether that be practice squad again or even on the main roster. You know, he's a huge body. He can be a good rotation to bring in as a brute force constantly. You know, when the offensive linemen, especially the guards, are running out of gas, you know, he comes in fresh, good to go, and he's just as good as some of these other guys. So, and then the other two, unfortunately, I didn't know that's too much information on Micha Dew-Treadway and Carson Taylor. Wish them the best of luck. Being an undrafted rookie free agent is no easy task making it in the NFL, but I'm very excited for these guys. I hope the best for them, and we will keep moving forward. But with that, thank you very much for joining this very quick episode of Just Another Year Chicago. My name is Nick Rohde, and I am solo today, but don't worry, Tony and Nick are going to be posting a Bulls video soon, so stay tuned for that. But we'll see you guys tomorrow to go over the linebackers and the edges. Have a good day, Chicago.